Hello everybody. As usual, we're going to start the class with the bowing. And remember, gratitude coming up in the mind calms the body, readies us for the practice. And the gratitude should always have at least two things in mind. More, obviously, is good, but the main two things is always be grateful for the practice because the art was developed over many generations, and there's no way that any one person could have developed it. And so that learning it is something to be grateful for, but also for the group of people that you get to train with, because even though it's VR or virtual, it's still a community in that sense, and that's something to be grateful for. So, thank you for being here. Good to see you. And we're going to start today right away with our basic warm-up, and I'm going to tie it into one of the most important themes today, which is the idea of moving around the room when we practice the form. So, as usual, hold the dantian, so your hands are cupping your lower belly. Feet are shoulder width apart, knees are bent. Now take a big step with your left foot, but keep the shoulder width of the 2 feet. So don't let them be narrow, keep them pretty wide. And now we're gonna work on moving away from the back foot, so on the right foot to the left foot. And when you go to each foot, you see how my heel comes up here, you can see my feet, I believe, and then you can see how the ball of my foot comes up here. So one foot, the other foot, back and forth. Now what we're doing is we're moving this point back and this point forward. But your head is imagine you're in a room with a really low ceiling. You can't stand up any taller, you have to stay low. But equal, like even as you go across. And then we're going to jump to the next step right away, which is when you go back, your belly goes to the side, to the right, and then it goes forward. And now you're turning the cauldron. You're stirring the pot, so to speak. Now breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in when you go back, and out when you go forward. And now since your leg on the back is your right foot, we're going to go to the position on the back foot, on the right foot. And you're going to raise your right hand. And as you go forward, you're going to reach as if you're just trying to grab any normal thing, like a glass of milk or something. So just reaching. And then you come back, and your palm is up as it comes back, and the elbow is tight. So it's not here, it's up here, like this. And I reach again, and then I come back. And then I reach again, and then I come back. So just the one hand. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now when you breathe out, look at my hand. See how my hand fingers are sort of off to the side? They're not here. And the bottom of the hand is being pushed forward. Keep doing it. Now we're going to maximize the breath. So come back, breathe in. Hold it for a second, expand the belly, breathe out. Hold it for a second, and then that's the pace now. All the air out, all of it, and then all filled out. Hold it for a moment, and last time, all the air out. Squeeze your stomach muscles. And then relax. Bring your feet together. This is a cleansing breath to clean away. So breathe in. And pretend that you're washing away through the organs, through the lungs, through the heart, through the liver, all the tension. Again. This is the exhalation coming down, and one more. And then put your right foot forward, feet shoulder width apart, right hand on the belly, and this time, actually both hands to start, and then back and forth, right foot forward. So back and forth. So reset things for a moment. Make sure that your feet are completely empty and completely full, meaning that all the weight is on one, all the weight is on the other. Back. And then right away, starting to turn to the left and come back forward. Turn to the left and come back forward. Breathing in when you go back, breathing out when you go forward. And now come to the position on the left foot. Bring your left hand up and reach with your left. And come back. So the left hand is doing the motion. Very light, very loose, very fluid. We'll add in the dynamics of the breathing in a moment. Just move. One of the things to notice, keep doing this, is that when I go back, my elbow is going close to the side of my body here. It's not flaring out like this, it's here. Okay? So try to think about that a little bit. Now, bring your awareness into your palm. So when you're going forward, you're pushing from the center of your palm. Your fingers are off to the side, and the bottom of the hand is really strongly pushed forward. Breathing in when you come back, and out when you go forward. When you breathe in, you fill up your belly with air. When you breathe out, you push the air away. Now, we're going to do 3 breaths like we did on the other side, where we hold the breath at the inhalation and hold the breath at the exhalation in posture. So ready? Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Hold it. 2 more. Last one, focus a lot of focus on the center of the palm. Hold it. And then feet together. And relax, wash it away. 2 more times. One last time. Good. Now, that represents one of our fundamental Tai Chi movements. Okay, so we're going to do that a lot as a warm-up, not just that one, but that one and a few other similar ones. And I want to introduce them as that, if you think of Tai Chi, the form, as being a brilliant piece of literature, a brilliant piece of language. And these movements then are the vowels of that language. So this is one of the building blocks from which all of the other movements come from. And it has the elements right away that you put all your weight on one foot, then you put all your weight on the other foot. So that is going to be something we're going to come back to today when we go back to the form, to talk about how to develop the form much more developed, a much better developed version of the form than we're going to get into. And that's the key, is you have to say, well, my weight's on one foot, I have to put it to the other foot, how am I going to do that? Okay. So anyway, having said that, a little bit more warming up in a stretch, and then a little bit more qigong in a stretch. So we're going to go to what's called horse running stance. So your feet are out wider than your shoulders. Here, let me change the camera a little bit. The feet are wider than the shoulders. So this is shoulder width here, where it's right below my hips. And that's natural stance. That's like the beginning of the form. Horse riding stance is both feet go out and end up being outside the shoulders here. But what's really important is the knees never buckle. The knees are always pushed out this way. And the pelvic floor doesn't stick out here, but it rolls up. So the back is straight. Now, from here, I want to do a Qigong for dynamics, and I want to do a Qigong for breathing. Okay, so the first one will be for dynamics. And what I want to do then is bring the hands together here. So if we go to this point here, all you do is let the hands fall. Now, there's an idea that the hands can be in either position here. I'm not going to stress about it. Whatever you feel more comfortable with, that's fine. But one hand should be above the other just a little bit, okay? So you're here. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change the camera angle slightly. I'm going to let my right hand climb up. And as it climbs up, it will pass in front of my eyes. As it passes in front of my eyes, it will turn the palm out and push up into the ceiling like this. At that moment, my left hand will have pushed down. And then they're going to switch together. So my left hand will climb up and my right hand will fall down. And then as my left hand passes in front of my eyes, it will push up as my right hand pushes down. So this is the dynamic of yin and yang, up and down. So the bottom hand rises, the top hand falls. And then they exchange positions. Now if you look at my posture here, from here is a rectangle turned on its side. Okay? So that's what you're tracing, is the outline of the rectangle to either point. See, now I'm at the opposite points. Okay? This is the breath in. This is the breath out. In. Out. Now, just on your own, at your own pace, feel the movement in the body. Feel it coming from the core. Breathing in, doing the best you can to mimic the movement. Three more. 1. 2. 3. Hold it. And then come up, shake it. So that was dynamic. And it's one of what's called the silk reeling Qigong techniques for Tai Chi. So a lot of Tai Chi movements are based on this kind of idea where you spiral up and then spiral back down. And you should think of it like a helixical spiral, like a DNA strand, where there's a circle on the outside, but a straight line in the middle. So this is the straight line in the middle. This is circling it on the outside, okay? So we'll do that one again, of course, too. So go back to horse riding stance. And now all I want to do is do 3 distinct breaths for developing energy in the chi, in the dante. These are called natural breaths. So what that means is that, well, first do this. Make sure your back is straight. And you're going to actually feel your belly, just below your belly button. This is my belly button here. Just below your belly button. When I breathe in, it's going to push my hands out. Right? It's going to push out. And then when I breathe out, it's going to pull in. Okay? We're going to do this together. We're going to breathe in, and you're going to hold it. The holding of the inhalation is to absorb as much oxygen through the body as you can. The holding at the end of the exhalation is actually, in a way, more important because it is to flush out the carbon dioxide. Really push it out because your body keeps pushing it out. Okay? So from here, relax. 3 breaths only. Stay with me. Stay in my pace. I'll breathe loud. You don't have to breathe loud. I would suggest you only breathe through your nose, actually. To breathe loud, I'll be breathing with my mouth. So use your nose, okay? Relax. Here's the first breath in, push out the belly. Hold. And now pull in the belly, breathe out. Hold. 2 more. Hold. And now return to natural breathing on your own. Come up. Shake. And then stretch. Put your feet back out. Push your feet out to the sides. Sink down. Elbows to the knees. Side to side. Feet straight forward. Elbows down to the knees and push out the knees, pushing down the hips. Reach forward, extend the spine, sinking down. Twist your elbow to your knee on one side. Twist your elbow to your knee on the other side. Straighten your back. And now I'm going to turn around so that you're facing the same direction as me. Turn to your left. Keep your hips straight and push to the left. Now turn so that your back heel can come up and your hips go to the side. Now carefully put your back knee down. Push your hips forward, stretching against the inside of the leg here. Now this one's a little tricky. I'm going to put my weight back up, back towards my right foot, and bring the ball of my left foot up. Then I'm going to lower myself, but keep my knee over my ankle. And keep the ball of the foot up, right? So this is a Tai Chi position stretch. Then you're going to put the foot back on the ground, straighten your back, and then settle into the stretch on the right. So remember, the hips move in straight. Keep your head upright. Turn, bring your hips to the side, heel up. Bring your back knee down. Push your weight forward against the inside of the leg. And then carefully shift your weight back to the left foot. Put the ball of the right foot in the air and sink down. Put your hands on the floor. Work your feet in. Hang. Push the back of the knees out. Stretching. Now, when you straighten up, breathe in as you straighten up and bring your hands up the back of your legs to the kidneys, which are above the hip crest, and push out through the kidneys. And then circle the hips one way, circle the hips the other way. Good. And then arm stretch. So bring your arms out, extend, and circle the shoulders. Circle the shoulders backwards. And now open, back. Again, open, back. One more time. Open, back. This time, grab a ball. Breathe in. Bring it above your head and smash it on the ground. 2, 3. That one is literally called throwing away the day's stress. So that is the idea. Throw away the day's stress. Get it behind you. Put it in your past. Okay. Look up and reach up. Look at your fingertips. Push your fingertips up as high as they can go. Now push your heels up as high as they can go. So you're on the front of your feet, the balls of your feet. Now push your toes down. Keep stability between the front of the foot and the toes and push up as high as you can. Then bring your heels down and twist your arm to the side. And then drop your arms, reach with the other arm and twist to the other side. And then drop your arms and simply shrug your shoulders up and down. Breathe in, bring them up, and release down. And then the last time, breathe up, bring your palms forward, and then raise your left hand, grab, and pull back. Now, from here, follow your hand into your center of your chest and twist the palm out. Right, so crank the hand this way, yeah. Now follow the hand back out, fingers up, and push the hand back. That's right. And now simply pull in the hand, bending the wrist firmly between the elbow and the wrist, and put your hand on top, and then push down, stretch the top of your wrist. And then give it a little shake to release the stretching. And we do the same thing on the right hand. So the right hand is out, pull the fingers back under. I'm also grabbing my thumb with my finger, you see? So I'm stretching my thumb as well, not just my fingers. And then follow it into the center, give it a twist. And then follow it back out and push it back. And then follow it in. Make sure the wrist is very bent and just push that wrist down. This is a good one for the computer users, people that work with computer a lot. This is the one that your wrists usually get the most relief from, stretching. And then give it a shake. And then we always finish with the neck, because you need to be able to look around, and that's actually going to be part of how I'm going to explain the next bit of the form. Is we were all designed as human beings to have vision to the front and to orientate ourselves in our task, whatever we're doing, to be in front of us. We don't do important things over here. We always do them here. Okay, so that matters. So turn your head side to side. Roll your chin, come up. Roll your chin, come up. Roll your chin, come up. And roll your chin and come up. Look forward, look up. Down. Go around. 1, 2, 3. Other way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let's talk about developing the form and actually give you guys a little more of the form. But just as importantly, how to develop the form properly. Because I know last week somebody asked a question about reviewing the stepping and the movements, and that's really where it's at. Is you got to understand how to move around in the context that is teaching you before you can develop a lot of sequences. So, as I said, we were designed as human beings to function with everything that we do in front of us as our main focal point. Our vision allows us peripheral, so we can see to the side, but it's only for noticing something. I don't, see an important task over here and then do that like that. I notice something over here and then I turn and then I engage with it with the front. Okay. If we want to move around and we think about the idea of a circle, that represents 360 degrees of engagement. So I can move in 360 different points along that circle. That's far too much to develop a good sense of how to move around because it's just too complicated. So what we do is we divide the circle up into 45-degree segments. So do this with me to really think about this in your mind, okay? Stand naturally in one place in the room. Get the orientation of the room around you sort of set up. And now look, straight in front of you is your first direction. It's the forward direction. It's not an accident that animals like fish, especially sharks, can only swim forward. They can't swim backwards. There's actually a different part of your brain for going forward than there is for going backwards. So there's the forward direction, and then that means there's a backwards direction. And now you have two distinct directions, behind you and in front of you. Then we have the side directions. So that makes 4 directions. That's the foundation. Now those are 90-degree angles, okay? So one 90-degree angle, another 90-degree angle, another 90-degree angle. Take those 90-degree angles and cut them in half, and you go to the diagonals, the corners of the room, and then you have 8 directions in the room. Okay, so that's very important that you keep that idea in your mind. So if I'm practicing the form, I will always have a beginning point that will set up for me where the front of the room is in that sense, where I know that this is where I want to end up when I'm done. And that means that if I go in any other direction, it's relative to that first direction. So when we begin the form, this is the front right now. This is 90 degrees to the side from here. This is the 45. This is a diagonal line across the room here. And then every other turn we do will be related to that initial tempo. Okay, I hope everyone understands that. If there's any questions about what I just said, I want to address them right now before we go to the form. So please ask, or maybe message Bruno or something, because I want to make sure everyone understands this. Looks like everybody's nodding. The people I can see are nodding, so I assume we're getting it. Okay, it's not that complicated conceptually, but it's so important that you realize that to move around effectively, you can't be concerned about every tiny degree of rotation. It's about 45 here, 45 here, 45 here, 90 degree there, something like that, okay? Anyway, let's do the form and we'll build it up. So just for one time, we'll start with the Qigong, and then I want to actually just work the form. So feet together, hands to the dantian. Now sink your weight down into your heels. Push the top of your head up and relax your belly. Breathe in and out. Put all your weight to your right foot. Pick up your left foot. Step out to shoulder width. Put your left foot down. Transfer your weight. And then transfer it back to the middle between the 2 legs and drop your hands. Okay, so that's our Qigong to warm up. Now, the first movement is the hands rise, and then they fall. So we haven't moved our feet yet at all. Now, we're going to turn to the right. It's 90 degrees from the front. And to do that, we're going to pivot. We're going to turn our weight on our left foot and bring our right foot, the front of the foot up, and turn on the heel of the right foot till we get to 90 degrees. Now, when we've got to 90 degrees, both my right toes and my right fingers are pointing 90 degrees. And then I put my weight down on my right foot. Okay, now my weight's on the front of my right foot. I better show you my feet. We're going to talk about feet for a little while, so I'll just show you my feet. I put my weight down on the front of my right foot, and because you want to pivot like this here, just not as exaggerated. So your heel turns out as you pivot on the front of your foot, and then you come up on the right foot here. Now at this point, your hips are to the diagonal, to the corner, okay? Everyone hopefully understands that. So let's just work on the feet. From here, I turn 90 degrees. I put my weight onto my right foot. And now you're gonna look, because your eyes always orientate yourself. You look to the corner, and then you turn and aim to the corner. And then you step into the corner. Everybody makes, okay, let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So this is going to continue for the entirety of the form. What you're doing right now is you're putting all your weight to one foot, all your weight to the other foot, and turning in that 8 directions. So let's put the hands engaged, and we'll carry on with the motion a little bit. But I'm going to keep focusing on the feet. So the hands come up and down. You turn to the right, and your right palm faces you. You pour the water onto the right foot. Now, as you pivot on the front of your right foot, you pick up a thermos. Your hands go from here to here, which is the right fingers go up, but the left fingers stay here. So from here to there, okay? Like that. Now you have your thermos, you step to the left corner, and you throw the thermos away. Okay? So I'll do it again here. Hands come up and down, turn, push down, pick up, turn and aim to the corner, step and throw away. Okay? Now hopefully that's making more sense. I'll leave the camera the way it is, because I want to do the next bit now then, and let you guys work on that for a second. If the rule of thumb is that one foot bears the weight while another foot is empty, and then the other foot comes down and it bears the weight while the other foot becomes empty. When you do dynamic turns, you have to be very careful about how you do it. This turn we're going to do now sets up every other complicated turn in the form. So this is a very difficult turn for that reason, that it develops a platform for the rest of the form. Okay, so go to here, like this. All your weight has just come to the left foot. Forget about your hands for a second. What's the rule? You have to put your weight to your right foot. Oh, by the way, sorry. Your objective is that you go onto this corner, you're going to go 180 degrees to the corner behind you. Okay, so it's 180 degrees to the corners. Now, as I said, your weight's on the left foot. So your objective is to turn around. The first thing you actually have to do is bring your weight to your right foot. Okay? So the weight goes to the left, and then the weight goes to the right. Now, when the weight goes to the right foot, you can see my left foot can come off the ground. That gives it the freedom to roll inwards towards my center on the heel, like that. Now, both of my feet are on the diagonal line here. Now I put my weight on my left, and I bring up my right, and now I'm facing the opposite direction, 180 degrees from where I started. Okay? So do it again. All the weight's on the left foot. All the weight's on the right foot. The left foot turns in, and then the right foot turns up, and you complete your turn. Now your hips are here, and you can step to this corner. Okay? We'll do it a few more times. 1, back. Make sure the left foot is up. The left foot turns in. The weight shifts to the left, and you pivot, pulling in your right foot, stepping out with your right foot. And one more time. 1, back, turn, pull, out. Now let's put the hands involved. From here, you've thrown your thermos away. All you do when you go back to your right foot is go back to your right foot. You don't move your hands at all. Now, as you push or turn in your left foot, what's going to happen is as you turn around, I better show you it this way. As you turn around, your left hand will just come up and come to your center here, but your right hand is going to come up and protect your head here. Okay? So I'll focus on the hands a little bit again. If I do it this way, remember that you're watching me do it in mirror image, so my right hand is below the left, okay? But I'm in the corner here. My weight comes back, my foot turns in, my left foot turns in, my left hand simply goes towards the center of my chest here, but my right hand comes up and protects my head here. So I end up in a position like this, both palms out here. Okay? So I'll do it again in the same direction as you guys. So I'm here, back, turn, and then you're here, right there, and I push away. Okay? So I really want the feet to get correct. So let's do the whole thing now. Feet from here, hands rise, and then they fall. Turning to the side, the weight shifts down. Now remember, you're going to the corner. So look to the corner, throw to the corner. Now the weight comes back, and you're going to go to the opposite corner behind you. Turn the left foot in, pull the right foot up, protect your head and your heart, and push away. All right. Please try to do that a few times on your own, and let me know if there's anybody having any trouble, okay? Just take a minute or two. Okay, I can see people doing it. Okay. Oh, this view. Okay. So let's just talk about what's going on just to that point a little bit. Remember that there's always an application in your mind, and it'll help you make sense of things. So the first part, I think you guys might remember this, but is this, right? And so I'm knocking a grab upwards, and then I'm hitting down on the collarbones, and then I'm grabbing behind the collarbones here, right? So that's the first part. Second part, from here, is I turn to the side, I push down, and I pick up the arm of the person, and I throw them away, right? So this is that throw away. It's going to be their arm going like this. Now, I've thrown them away to that corner. And what you want to think about is when you've done that, you've thrown them away to the corner, you hear something behind you. You sense something behind you that you have to turn and deal with. So the next attacker then is coming from that corner. And so that what you're doing here is you're actually turning to face that attacker and put your hands up to protect yourself. So this comes up, this gives two very important things about self-defense. First is this position. What I call this position is the I don't want to fight position. So if you're ever in a situation where you're being threatened by someone, like physically threatened, you say, hey, I don't want to fight, I just want to go home and be safe, or whatever it is. But you put your hands here. You don't want your hands here. You don't want your hands here because this is obviously like you're ready to fight. You don't want that. And you don't want your hands here because your hands aren't up to protect you. You need them here because if anything were to happen in that moment, you don't have time to raise your hand and engage. You only have time to just shift your body slightly. That's how fast what's called a sucker punch can come in. So the idea is this is the I don't want to fight position. Okay, so you can remember that. That's self-defense position. The second main position here then is this. So when I go here and I turn here like this is the flinch mechanism that we all have if something was suddenly flying at our head. Whoa! Right? You put your hands up. So I saw a perfect example of this years ago, and it stuck with me in my mind really clearly because it was a kid, and the kid's expression of the movement was very instinctual, which is exactly what this is. It's instinctual to protect your head.
And it was a weird situation where I was in a park and there was people all around and everything. And I happened to look over and see there was a mom and a son under a tree, and one of the branches in the upper part of the tree just snapped and fell down towards the kid. And the kid leapt out of the way and brought his hands up like this. And it was like a perfect positioning for like the Tai Chi. Like it was exactly what it was supposed to be. He jumped out of the way, he didn't get hit, he was fine. But his movement was perfect. I watched that and I went, see, this is just instinct now. The instinct was right. And so that's what this is, instinct. But it's tying the instinct into emotions for you so that if something happens, it's going to work really well. It's going to protect you very well. Okay, so that's a little bit about that idea of how those things relate. So let's do it again from here. I come back, I turn my foot in, and now this is that moment of flinch response. Whoa. Okay, now let's keep going because I think we did this movement last week a little bit. From here, I'm going to step into the corner with my right foot. And as I do, simply push away from those two places. So I'm pushing away from my center here, and pushing away from my center here. So these are the two up or down pins. Now from there, we're not going to move our feet again, so we can just focus on the hand. We're not going to move our feet again for a moment. The first thing we're going to do is take two hands and reach out like this. Like you're trying to hold two trays or something like this, but there's an extension to this. There's like an offering feeling. Now, your right hand goes on top of your left, and now you have a ball. Okay, and you're going to take that ball and bring it down to your left hip, up to your left shoulder, back down to your left hip, and then you're going to throw the ball away with your fingers heavy, roll back with your fingers heavy, and then push up and away with the palm heels, the bottom of the hands. Okay, so let's do that again. You turn and you come out to here. 1, 2, draw a figure 8, roll back, and push up and away. Now, I will talk about the feet. When you turn here and push away, your feet go into a nice strong stance. And a strong stance is the feet are shoulder width apart, and it's like a big step, like when we do in the beginning of class, right? When we're doing this, same posture. Now, when I'm here, and I brought my weight forward to my right foot, I actually extend a little bit from that, and I'm even bringing my weight a little more forward to the maximal position. And then as I come down, I'm bringing my weight to my back foot. And then as I go back forward, I bring my weight back to my front foot. And then I bring my hands back, and I bring my weight back to my back foot. And then I bring my weight back forward to my front foot. So there's a constant, I'll do it facing this way. There's a shift, right? Weight on the back, weight on the front, weight on the back, weight on the front. Okay? So let's do the whole thing together to that point, and then we'll add in today's new movement, and I hope you'll have a full, better understanding of how to think about the movements. Okay? So from here, up, down. Turn to the outside, push. Pick up the thermos, aim to the corner, think about your diagonals, throw. Roll back, turn the foot in, hold in the right foot, protect your head and your heart. There's that flinch response. Step away, push, grab, figure 8, throw away, and push up and away. All right, please try to do that once on your own. Garbage truck is here, so it's going to be a little loud. Okay, so hopefully everybody got through to that point. Now let's do the next move. That'll be what you can take away from today. How much time do we have? Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. The next move is a very iconic Tai Chi move. If we go back to the last push here, so we're in the corner here, and we just pushed away. The rule of thumb is this: eyes, feet, hands. So when you go to a new direction, the first thing that will happen is you look. And then your feet will have to turn so that your body can shift to a new position, and your hands will follow your body. Most of the time, people instinctually want to do it the opposite, basically. They want to look, and then they want their hands to engage. But that doesn't keep the body connected. Anyway, so I'm here. The next attacker, so to speak, is coming from the front. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm here on my right foot. I look to the front, and I bring my left foot up to my right, and then I step out back to natural stance. That's all. So all I do is my left foot comes up, and I turn out to the side. And I end up in the same stance that we started in, okay? So if you go to this, you look to the front, you bring in your left foot, you step out, and then you turn back to the front. See how my hands are following my body? And they're just going to do that. They're going to follow all the way across. Okay? Now, what matters here is the palms are to the outside and fingers are both horizontal as you go across. Okay? So go back to here. Fingers are pointing upwards. Heel or foot comes in, turn. And as you step out, fingers turn horizontal and go across. Okay? And what you want to think about here is that you're deflecting like this. Something's coming in at you here, and you're just going to go like this and let it go by. You see? So, there's one more, there's a lot. There's always so many things to talk about. But this movement requires an awareness of another detail. Center line. So if you cut your body in half here, it would be pretty symmetrical either side. It's the center from which the growth of the body occurs. So when I go like this, I do this until my hand here, the second hand, this is my right hand, gets across my center line. And then it turns, and then it's going to come back across the other way. So the motion can just be done like this. Right? Very wave-like. You're just waving across and waving across. When my teacher first taught me to do this, he actually had me go up to a wall, put my hands on the wall, and then go like this against the wall to just feel the pressure pushing out this way and pushing out this way. Okay, so we're going to do that from here. I look to the front, my foot shifts in, and then it shifts out, and there's the first wave across from right to left, and then the second wave is from left to right. Okay? So do it again from here, because we want to get that turn correct. 1, 2. Okay? Now, what I would normally do if I had a normal class, which is a memory, is I would have a person help me demonstrate these moves. I would have what's called an uke in Japanese. And I'm planning on hopefully getting that set up in the fall, as I said, but that's contingent on lots of things. But what I would want to show you guys is I would have one of them come up in front, and then we bow, and then we do an exercise. And what they would do is they would take 2 punches at me. They would go 1, 2. This would be the first punch, and this would be the second punch. So this deflects a punch, right? A punch comes in, and you deflect it. And then another punch comes in, and you deflect it again. Okay? Now, as the second one comes in, your right hand is going to grab the wrist of that person and make a crane beak. Remember, a crane beak is when you touch your thumb and forefinger, and all your fingers around your thumb, and you make a little crane's head. It's a grabbing position. See? Grabbing position. So I go 1, 2, and I make that crane's beak. And then I put my hand on top of their arm like this. Okay? So 1 is a crane's beak, 1 is an open palm. 1, 2, crane beak and open palm. Now, from here, I'm going to do a very iconic Tai Chi motion called single whip. So I'm going to face the camera, just watch my dynamic, right? I was coming from the corner and I turned 1, and then I went 2, and I made my crane beak with my right hand, and my left hand held the tray. My left knee would come up to my left elbow, and then my foot would step down and out, and then I would expand these hands to here. And now I have a very iconic Tai Chi posture. Every Tai Chi style has a version of this posture. Chen style tends to do it more like this. Yang style is more like this, and there's other varieties. But the point is that it's an expanded position with a crane beak in one hand and a hand in the other this way. Okay? So I'll do it facing the camera again, but please remember mirror image. Put your hands up on your right side, and then go from that side to this side, turn the palms, and then go back to the other side. And as you do, right hand crane beak, left hand palm up. Left knee up, down, out, turn, and expand into a single whip. I'll show you my feet now. So do it again with me. Hands up on the right side. 1, 2, here. Foot down, turn, heel, and out. See? Do it again. 1, 2. All the weight goes to the right foot so you can pick up the left. The foot comes back down and out. And then you transfer your weight to the front of the left foot there. Okay, here, sorry, here. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Now, just to note, in time, you will start to feel this yourself, but this posture, I've always really liked this posture because if I do it right there, that's a good version of it. You can see that my elbow is a little bent. This hand's a little higher than this hand. And what's happening here is I'm tracing a wavelength, an energy wavelength through my whole body. Passing through this way, like waves at the ocean. And that's what this is supposed to represent, is an expansion into your full dynamical extension. Now, if somebody was trying to punch me, and I blocked once, and I blocked twice, and I grabbed the wrist. This is the wrist grab, and this hand came up over their arm, right, over their arm, and I kneed them in the ribs, and I extended my hand under their chin. I could turn their head and pull their arm across my chest here, so that there would be a dynamic where they would be like this, and they would be extending right across their arm, across the top of your chest. That's the application to this. That's something I hope to show you guys in time, soon, because it's so interesting to see it in use there. But for now, you just try to imagine it. Otherwise, it's just a good therapeutic exercise. Let's put it all together, and I think that'll probably be our time for today. So right from the beginning, up, down, clenching the fingers, turn. Thermos down, come up, throw away, rock back, turn the foot in, pull in the right foot, bring the hands up, push away with both hands. Double tray, grab the ball, figure 8 with the ball, throw it away, roll back, push up and away. Look to the front. Bring the left foot in, step across, and brush aside once, brush aside twice, knee to elbow, step down, and out into single whip. Okay? Now what time is it? Well, I think that was our time for today. Hopefully you got that. 5 to the hour, right, Bruno? Yeah, okay. So that will be our finish for today. Thank you for your time. Hopefully that all made a lot of sense. Please, any questions, let me know, okay?